everyone, this is Louis Sankara, aka the Manga Poppy, and today I'm going to be discussing the anime community's biggest villain at the moment. It's not Aizen, it's actually Logan Paul with his One Piece controversy. I've been seeing thousands, tens of thousands even, of tweets, people making videos on Logan Paul and him buying into the whole anime community, LARPing if you will, and I was surprised I didn't see a single person talking about the fact that he planned this absolutely perfectly. And how I mentioned with Aizen before, everything is going according to plan. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, Logan Paul, if you already don't know, he's an actor.
Woo! Who ordered the Kirk burger with the side of Kirk fries and a Kirk shake? See what I did there?
He works in the WWE. He does this for a living. He knows how to engage an audience. And this is one of like the easiest things to spot. Just to get this out of the way, I'm not here to prove that he's a LARPer or not. Countless people have been making videos on that. I'm here to prove that he's actually kind of an evil genius for putting this all together. And I'm going to highlight some of the things he's done to essentially pave this road to making millions. He was even controversial back then.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Now this guy knows how to rage bait, I'll tell you that. He bought into the culture. He quite literally paid money to get these views in the way that not by view botting, but by buying a very expensive product from a community that is very vocal, and then having that community then basically amplify him. So saying certain things like Luffy, for example, versus Luffy.
It was great.
Luffy D Monkey, shout out Luffy.
Monkey D. Luffy.
What?
Monkey D. Luffy.
It's Monkey D Luffy. Yeah.
And that's like one of the easiest things you can do to, you know, even bait a regular anime fan. So every post you would see about it became, you know, Logan Paul sucks. He's a LARPer, this, that, and the other. He doesn't even know what he's buying into. It makes sense though. I mean, it makes sense from a perspective where you want to be on their radar. Whether people defend him or hate him doesn't really matter in the social media perspective. It matters about getting that views, you know, that money. So what did he do? He did all that. He did all the rage baiting. And with the rage baiting, he revealed that he spent $500,000 on the Shonen Jump One Piece magazine, where, you know, Luffy first appeared, and then a Dragon Ball issue. Both were graded extremely high. So he doesn't quietly collect. He shows to the world, you know, what he's doing, what he's investing in, like his brother, which have done a bunch of rug pulls on people, by the way, in the past with like NFTs and coins. So announcing this, the post got a ton of backlash. Like I mentioned before, tens of thousands of people were tweeting about it, talking about it, making videos, free videos, if you will, on Logan Paul. So he got to make his money back at least. You know, people are talking about him, coming to his podcast, you know, searching his name, looking at his videos. That generates income in the eyes of a manga reader or an anime viewer. Like I mentioned before, the Luffy example, it easily lit up the community where it was, you know, obvious way of showing that you're a fake fan, you know, you're a LARPer. You know, small mistakes that normal people would make, like saying manga instead of manga. You know, it's seen as super disrespectful in the anime community. So this was just an easy way of, you know, getting that attention. And later he posted himself reading the manga in a private jet while cosplaying as Luffy. However, the page wasn't even correct. When you're reading a Shonen Jump series, it collects a bunch of different, you know, series that are inside. And One Piece was one of the most popular ones at the time. So it was closer to the front. Essentially, people debunked that he was not even reading the One Piece page. He just, you know, put a caption on himself on a private jet and then basically mocking fans in a way. And it wasn't really seen as damage control, like him trying to LARP. It was more like, you know, I'm in on it. A lot of people kind of took the bait, you know, they took the bait and they ran with it. Like I said, at the end of the day, man, it's all about the content, the views, clip farming. This guy made it. This guy, he absolutely, you know, was at the top of the totem pole when it came to getting all the views. So he easily made one of the best investments in, you know, getting manga, right? Investing in it. Not only that, the company that grades these manga, Beckett, I mean, shot up, right? I mean, unintentionally, or like I said, intentionally, he's raising their stock and essentially raising all the stocks of anyone holding on to Shonen Jump magazines from the past, present, and possibly in the future too. At the time, I Show Speed as well, a few weeks ago, they had WrestleMania going on, which is a huge wrestling event for the WWE. So Logan Paul was in there, I Show Speed, of course, and they were cool during the event, but right after, Speed publicly criticized Logan with the One Piece issue, saying this guy's a fake fan. I'll put up the tweet over here, but you can definitely tell Speed is in on it. And for those of you who don't know or do know, Speed is one of the biggest creators when it comes to One Piece. Not that he even makes content on One Piece, but it's just one of his favorite series. So, the most popular streamer, content creator that is into this series. Him talking about this also added fuel to the fire of making this thing super crazy and implode. So it was basically fake fan versus real fan. You can see that people, they made their own edits. Going back to wrestling in WWE, Logan Paul is a heel, meaning he's the villain when it comes to matches and wrestling. So him playing this part is massively important because he knows how to draw in the crowd. He knows how to rub salt into the wound. He knows how to be a great bad guy, and that's what he is in this community right now. Is he's a fantastic bad guy, someone easy to dunk on, but at the same time can bring in views. So the performer, Logan Paul, he just leans into it. He knows how to use this PR strategy, which, like I said, I don't see enough people mentioning this. This guy is literally a villain. He's a villain in this fake made up scenarios, and he knows how to play a villain outside of that as well, because he already has the tools, the foundation to do that. By May 6th, he kind of started reeling it in, because you can't go too much over the top without it kind of blowing up in your face. So on his Impulsive podcast, he started to kind of redirect it by saying, he's a collector. He's now a casual fan of One Piece, which is, somewhat true. You can't really gatekeep an entire series. You can't tell somebody they're not a fan if they consider themselves a fan. Even if they are trying to pretend, you can't really, if I like a series, I like a series. You can't take that away from me from me saying it. That's just my opinion on it. However, after absorbing all of that, he basically tried to make himself sound a little more reasonable. And, he started to say, you can't gatekeep me on his own podcast. And, he got the sympathy of some people in the community, and then others, they use this point and, they kind of ran with it. You know what I mean? It's good news, views, free clicks, essentially. We're trying to put together here that he's trying to do like a villain redemption arc. All right. He's trying to look like the good guy. The thing is, if fans really want something like Logan Paul to go away, and if they want to see, I guess, less LARPers in the community, all they have to do, just like with anyone else on social media these days, is just ignore them. If you just ignore these people, you don't have to ever see them again, give them the attention, and eventually they will actually just wither and die because they're not getting enough attention. However, fans kind of have to see through that, or people on the internet kind of have to see through that if they want to see it go away. You know what I mean? With Logan Paul kind of doing the investing into the Pokemon community, or investing, if you will, basically make it inflated for years to come, which happened back in 2020. People could have just ignored those prices. People could have not, fell for the scalpers or fell for any of these high ticket items, instead, holding out or not buying into them. However, people, they give in to views or purchasing these exorbitant prices, these products that should really, only be worth even a quarter of that, a percentage, if you will. Most of these people don't listen, and they essentially just contribute into their community. So that's all I have to say, is that if you don't like something, don't contribute to it, don't talk about it, and it'll eventually go away. At least when it comes to social media and views, you can literally just not comment on it, because all these people feed on is views now. It doesn't matter if it's good views, bad views. It's just about views. So if you take that away from them in the engagement, they have nothing. They have quite literally nothing. So is Logan Paul a LARPer or not? That's truly up to you. What I do know is that he planned one of the greatest schemes the anime community has ever seen, and probably will look back on and say, wow, Logan Paul is actually Aizen. He actually did plan all of this out, because it honestly worked out in his favor, to where he now is getting a bunch of more views from people in a different community, since now he's technically part of the anime community. He's also making money on whatever investments he made on the One Piece and Dragon Ball, which is $500,000. And now he's kind of created a new industry where manga is getting graded, and this content, anything with collectibles like my Asuka over here, may be worth something in the future. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's to come from it. But I'd like to know your thoughts on it, La Familia. Are you a One Piece fan that got raged by this? You know, do you think that we should gatekeep fandoms? Do you think fandom gatekeeping is dumb? I'd like to know your thoughts down below. But this has been Louis Sankara, and until next time, adios.